JID definitely showed flashes on his debut album, The Never Story, but it was really DiCaprio 2 that cemented him as probably the best mainstream rapper to come through since the early 2010s. The scary part about that album is it almost had a mixtape feel in that it had a couple of introspective cuts, but most of it was just him going and showing off his really good flows and cadences. He's also been on fire with his features and his Lucy since then, so I got high expectations for this one. Let's get into it.
I got this shit you would light with a lighter. Fuck a lighter, I can light on the stove. Dark at night, I drop a log in the fire. Wondering
He came in
the woods
crazy.
out in the cold. I got this shit they could pull out, I know it could blow out the back.
Fire flow.
Yeah, they got the cures, the facts, you know it's sad. They put the money to crack, they complain in the sunshine of the cloud rain, but won't lift a finger.
Floating right there.
In the danger, niggas been in danger,
He said like 5 different flows so far.
With my 9, I'm like 10 Avengers.
This is 6.
Finger, I could end Avengers. Rapper, singer, no killer, nigga.
That's
You a
tough.
copper, you a nigga killer. Somebody told me when I was small that the pride cometh right before the fall. Godson
Oh, he
died
slowed
for
his
us
tempo
all,
up,
for
too.
mine, I'm running through a wall. Everything a nigga learn, got to burn. My little nigga in a hearse, I was heard. Fuck a rap and fuck a verse, I can blur. Trying to see
This
how
verse
many
I can
earns
blur rhymes
earn.
again,
Are
dog.
you entertained or are you concerned? I'd be afraid, I'd be in church.
The thing that makes JID's rapping so impressive is not only does he constrict himself with the rhyme scheme, but he also tends to stay in a particular cadence. So in most raps, the syllables that rhyme, they line up together. But with JID, the syllables that don't rhyme also line up because they'll have the same cadence. A lot of times they'll be really intricate cadences, so I'll try to point them out as we go.
Targeting and picking them off, better be Beyonce if you say my name. Orange and be a
That's
sunlight,
tough.
daylight savings might save a nigga life. It ain't never too bright to broad day, nigga. Nighttime vampires, your nigga slay a nigga. Slide like
This
landslides,
guitar
so you can
sample
take they
is
side. I'm a K9, straight in the pack. Looking for JID, he's straight in the back. So we could send a message, but I know they never gonna lend the ear. So I got a method, one do you better, do you one better. Bet you won't do it, let's bet I will.
He also carefully crafts his internal rhymes too. Like on that last couple of lines, the internal rhymes, the ever rhyme scheme, it fell on the same part of the beat with every single line in that like last 4 bars.
I hold respect my shield until I'm long gone, but while I'm here, I can snap my fingers, they'll disappear.
That's a tone set of a show. The opening beat had a real heavy bass. I thought it was a little bit bare, but it made up for it when it had that first beat change, and then it changed again. Both beat changes had a tempo shift too, and that second beat change was with him mid-verse, and it was dope how he effortlessly switched his flow up to match the new beat. The rapping was dope. He just got into a bunch of different pretty dope flows. He didn't get into his little double time flow, but it was still really smooth. Content-wise, he was painting that picture of where he came from and a lot of braggadocio mixed in. This is Dance Now with Kenny Mason.
Motor running on Memorial Drive, got a country cousin cruising
How that
with
Atlanta
the
is.
Savannah at the Florida Georgia line. Got a couple family members in Atlanta, not Atlanta. We let on Moretta decide.
That's tough.
Cause you niggas bugging, so exercise.
Hey, for the record, I'm in Atlanta right now.
Overcame struggle when the devil tried. Let me bear it all when I'm telling God. You know I'm a rant when I talk to Ja. Nigga said that I can't. Damn lie.
You know I'm a rant when I talk to God. Ja Morant, Ja is in another name for God. That's tough.
But the block can't stop revenge. Nappy dreadlocks like a Rasta man. What the story ends in the plot.
The background vocals
Said
is
the
sick.
messiahs and moccasins. Trying to save the kids in them apartments and show a way to live with other options. Opulence, decadence, black excellence, and lots of it. I
Oh,
could cop the newest Beamer,
I like that below right there.
Cause I can pay for this little nigga scholarship. I ain't caught up in rap nigga
He's still
politics.
playing with that
You
ah
playing
sound.
yourself, playing with dip.
He had a little opulence rhyme scheme, and then he took that ah sound forward and made alliteration in the next rhyme scheme in the middle of it.
There's a felony charge, he called the F. Niggas corner the A and get X'd out. But I only been here cause I'm trying to help. Only one you can help is yourself now.
That's tough. He got an L, came to the A, and got X'd out. Little playing when teachers grade the paper and X out the wrong answer.
Running with bags and bricks. I'm a little nasty chick.
Yeah, that song was a banger. More imagery about growing up in Atlanta, but he had a lot of really heavy punches mixed in there too. That Ja Morant punch is different. That little AF X'd out scheme was fire. Though he let Amaretto decide, that's funny. And then really good flows on this song too. The beat from Crisco had a pretty quirky vocal sample. I have heard better beats from Cristo. Did like the drums though. I'm gonna forgive JID. He had Kenny Mason on this song and didn't have him rapping. But since Kenny Mason is late on this album, I'm gonna let it slide. This is Crack Sandwich.
You can tell a nigga like me ain't never had shit. RP, I miss my dogs like Mike Vick. Niggas tripping, they taking whatever's given. The irony when a nigga starving, gotta grip the biscuit, jump the fence.
The irony when he starts playing in the iron, they gotta grip the biscuit when they starving. Ugh.
Jump the fence, empty all the dishes out your kitchen. If you witness it, then click, 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 and they spill the grits, spill the kick. Fuck a fair catch killer who try.
That is tough. The imagery on that is tough, but they knocked over all the dishes If you witness, they gonna spill some more.
Build a kick, fuck a fair catch, kill him. Who tryna take the hit? First take, go to first base. Stephen A. Smith West on the hip, talking shit like Skip. Or Shannon Sharp shooting off the top of the cliff.
Take the kick, then take the hit line, F a fair catch, leading to the Stephen A. Smith line, then leading to the Shannon Sharp line.
Was slap boxing, nigga bust my lips, start fighting. Little brother on some tough guy shit. If you ever did me wrong, he on some what's right shit. Bust a left. You bleed, I bleed and draw blood. I'm a fucking artiste. Artist with a gun, I can give my world peace. Give your
He's an artist with the gun, but artist run an artist, so I can get the world peace. Peace also playing to the fact that the last line he mentioned a gun, like a peace gun. He's been crafty with the rhyme schemes, but him getting into these level of entendres is pretty sick.
Look, I do it for Royal and Roslyn, Rachel and Carl. Is he precious, destined, strong, 7 kids, different blessings? Is he athletic as
Oh my goodness. Bro, they on something else. His rapping is crazy and sonically, man. He has real heavy trap influence, and normally with trap, the beats are pretty simple. You have a sampler or a synth and then some drums. But for one, this sample is really texture in and of itself. And then it takes a lot of musicality to start manipulating tempo, so for them to slow this down to halftime, tough.
Black man using his mind, it's a target on your forehead. Gotta stay on point like a marksman. Make a mark, leave a footprint. Went for a marching. Bro graduating, so we head into the boost state.
The target wordplay and then to leave a footprint marching.
It sound cool, but really this a confessional. 20 minutes in it, pressured and went to the restroom. Said they got to hitting with some women and they about to get kicked out. They ain't even tell us what that shit was about. Fighting in the street, it's like 10 to get 23. I was 17, swinging on any and everything. Bing, bing, see my brother doing buddy like a boxing ring. Roz got a bitch doing the hair weave sling. So beautiful, beating ass was like a family thing. Fighting the crackers inside of a paddy wagon. We sardines to saltine crackers that wanna shackle us and chain. But who's to blame when all of us got the same mind frame? We like a gang, mom and papa probably be proud and ashamed. Pound for pound, my sister precious, never lost the faith. Got up off the ground and she said she could hear my father saying, when you fall down, stand up, get a bandage.
Well, you started the video, man. That song was different. Cause I used to go too much be too sketchy, cause I definitely thought that story was gonna end when people start shooting. But no, that song was amazing. I think the storytelling at the end speaks for itself, but the way that they even crafted the song up to that point, JID's lyrics in the first 2 verses definitely painted that environment that led up to that fight that he described in the 3rd verse. But then I loved how each of the choruses, or I guess you could call them bridges, they all sounded similar. They had a similar feel to them, but they all were slightly different to describe where he was in the storytelling point. It was especially really clever when he made the last chorus about what his dad would say at that point in time. Then to slow the beat down for him to tell that story and the details. I love that line when he was talking about his parents to be proud and ashamed at the same time. Then going back to the production, I really love those creepy, dark, I think there were either some wind instrument or vocals. I couldn't tell which one because they were so distorted. But that was tough, and then the layer keys over it too. That song was amazing. This is Can't Pump Me with Earth Gang.
I was just a po-ass nigga before I turned into a poet. Pro kids kicking the dirt, we playing bust 'em up, throw it. Ain't never been off of flat shows, the fuck is a foreign. All of my heroes had zeros and customers growing. Ain't no point, try disciplining niggas disappointed. I participated, could have been avoided, but they kill a nigga trying to fill a void. Filling fouls in the drawer, it's a girl, it's a child, it's a boy in the world trying to drown out the noise. You heard that? You like that?
That
you
feel that? Crazy.
You do. You serve that? Bring a bird back, alert pack, the flu.
Patting and shouting from the land where the preachers always pack and shouted. No, I'm never lacking shouted. Pulpit pulls that ratchet, eat your heart out like it's a starving pit bull. Shit, where I'm from, everybody got a tool. KP the cage that I was raised in. Shit, my nigga, then you should loot the path. I'm out here blazing.
Oh, I like this flaw.
Jump and run cause he was pistol waving. Motherfucker, fuck the devil, boy, I'm from the A, man.
Nah, that verse on Venus is different. For one, the flows were tough, but he kept this theme of having a weapon, and he kept this theme of preaching and pulpit throughout the entire verse, and then he left off with a little amen wordplay, a little nod to both the themes that he was mentioning in his verse.
Nigga, me, you mean by pricey. I don't really fuck with these niggas like Gandhi. What's up, nigga? Try me.
That's hilarious.
Pull out the pump, can't pump me, crocodile Dundee, knocking out front teeth. Niggas is way too sensitive, touchy. Niggas is aunties.
That's tough. Pretty good beat. I kind of like that high-pitched synth. I think it's pretty wild that they went from the trap drums to the tribal drums on this song. I do rock with that part of the beat. I like all 3 verses. I think JID had the best verse, but Johnny Venus went off. I thought both him and Dot had really dope flows, but I think Johnny Venus asked him because he had a little bit more wordplay within his bars too, especially that gun and preaching theme that was going throughout the entire verse. Well, good verse from Dot 2. This is surround sound.
I they came back around like a nigga selling crack in pounds. I got a bag now, but it's nothing to brag about. Gun blast in the background. I'm a black man with the bloodhounds. Mac 10 making love sounds to a book around. Hit the music, baby, cut it down. Hit the doobie while you do me indubitably. I feel like I'm a bust now. I feel like a bust down. When I shine bright, blind niggas is up now. In the cut, big black truck pack sacked up. You can pick it up now, nigga. Fuck it, okay?
Verse was tough, smooth flows throughout. I really like how he switched between his rhyme schemes. He'll keep particular rhymes or particular syllables. He'll keep from rhyme scheme to rhyme scheme. So he was definitely playing with that ound sound in the whole first half of his verse, even though he went into 2 different rhyme schemes with it.
I'm at the top where I'm supposed to be. Jumping in the gang, niggas act like they coaching me. 400 rats ain't shit, but a show to me. I'm on the road and I bet that you're holding me when I'm.
That shoulder to the side of the road. That's pretty good wordplay. I mean, for 21 Savage, that's good wordplay.
I put a drum on the heckling cots. Don't play cause I'm very invested in shots.
Push the fucking pack off of the porch or break.
That's really solid for 21 Savage. I mean, he's not on JID's level, but he was playing with a little 4-7 in there.
Push it back and go to town down.
Is this Baby Tate? I have no idea who that is. Too many babies in rap right now.
Sorry in advance for my bros. They'll whip a nigga ass. What you whipping up? Shit in the back. If you looking for the dope, niggas got it in the bag. Cause we trapping on the low. And I'm the shit with the.
They still playing with tempos. The same samples going on right now. It's just pitched super far down to the point where it's kind of like mixed in with the bass.
Yes, tell them bitches stop the motherfucking press stop. Fuck a top 5 list. Get him a vest. He get lopsided. Fuck the cops. We was running from Rottweilers. Most of my partners ain't had papa, just a pop condom. Couple kids with Alzheimer's. 40 on his side. Boy, you might all stop. He on the family busting moves. My troops carry velocity. Same posse since Osh Posh Bagosh. Pussy treat rapping like a pusher rock. On the stove with the Pyrex pot. The door stay locked.
Tough, man. I think that was the lead single. JID did his numbers on the first verse. 21 Savage had a really solid verse on the second verse. I do judge him on a different scale, so like good for JID and good for 21 Savage, 2 completely different things. But he like that nigga who like ain't that good at school and he try really, really hard so he get a C+, but you just as proud as him as you are the nigga who got an A+, because they just got 2 different talent levels. That's 21 Savage and that's JID. Equally proud of him. Don't know why Baby Tate needed to be on that song, but JID snapped on the second verse that he had. So much wordplay, so many different flows, and man, he'll just take one syllable and just find so many different ways to flip it. He did that here, and just the cadences and flows he's getting to is really elite too. The sample is a classic with that same sample that was flipped in Miss Fat Booty. Then coincidentally, Most Def is later on the album too. I definitely like when they pitch it down and ran it in halftime on that beat switch, or I guess modulation. But yeah, tough song. This is Kody Blu 31.
As I lay myself to sleep, I pray to Lord my soul to keep. The pressure
He sounds really good.
Journey takes me to places where history can't stop or break me. Swinging little sis, keep swinging little bro. I'm about to swing on Terry Payne because he said my sister hoe. Getting high from swishing sweets, chariots are swinging low. Swats the cousin of police, hang a nigga swinging road. Pee Wee tried to give her warm big hugs, told her you like the strongest woman on the fucking globe. I watched my mama lose her mama, go through drama and trauma, but had to keep her head high so we don't fucking know.
That's a gorgeous song, man. Whoever was on the bass was getting busy. And then I love the vocals. Both JID's vocals, which was really good and also improved over the last few years. And then the vocals that formed, the harmony was dope too. It kind of had that lean on me melody. JID's subject matter was pretty tough too, man. I loved his storytelling. I especially felt the part where he was talking about his mom lost his mom and she had to pretty much hide her pain. But I just felt the pain in everything that he expressed. I loved how he opened the swing on lines and the chorus with the opening bars. It has a really dark undertone to it because how he was describing people swinging from nooses. Kind of like it was encouraging you to swing on, but swinging on was going through torture. But yeah, I like the conflict that juxtaposes those 2 things against each other. Kind of builds up. This is Bruddanem with Lil Durk.
Kinda like Pac in a butter rim. Couple M's, cut a check, cut the film. I got that Glock from my Bruddanem.
I'm impressed with not just the verses, but the structure he puts into the song. He used one rhyme scheme for that whole verse, and it led into the chorus. I like these violins in the background.
Look,
A lot of anticipation with this beat.
My hitter, my slugger, my nigga, my jigger, my killer, my dog. If for the women, my niggas. Most of them really be realer than y'all. When I was in it, I got in trouble, got a whipping for nothing or something. My brother did, I never snitch, I never done no sucker. She could see a cuss for me if it was him. He'll put millimeter is different. My brother had gave me one of his switches. My uncle be bitching, they told me he snitching. So when I grew up, I was blessed in my distance. We slept out the window, being
not a bad flow.
Power knocked out, slept close to a window. My brother gang, phone on block, all that shit, really gang members.
That song's tough, man. I touched on the musicality and also like how that beat built up to when the beat finally dropped. And I like how that also corresponded with JID just snapping on that second verse with his flows. Love the storytelling. I like how relatable it is, where he's not just talking about that street life, but he's also talking about just regular experience of growing up with a brother. You get in trouble for something your brother did, you don't even snitch. I love little touches of that and how he is mixing in all different points in time of his childhood and merging them into this cohesive story that he's been telling throughout this album. With Lil Durk, I'm gonna go back to that analogy I was talking about, the student who ain't that good at school and he give his best effort and you proud of him. He tried, but he still failed the class. He had some good flows on the beginning half of his verse, and then he just lost all steam. He just started saying stuff. By the time he got to On Phone Him, I ain't saying nothing bad about the game now. But when you got to that part, he just lost all his steam. He just started saying catchphrases at that point. This is Sistanem.
You told me never let this get a hold of me. You hate to see me hurt, you wanna hurt someone for me. Way too down to earth, don't do no dirt for me, please. Don't need nobody else taking a deal or replete. Back on the road, gone with the wind blows, packing the shows, hoes in the nymphos, platinum and gold. You know how this shit go when family's gone. You don't know what you here for.
He didn't say it explicitly, but you can just feel the conflict between him being tempted with these casual relationships, superficial relationships, and then like deep, meaningful relationships and how they conflict with each other.
So she happy that we doing better than before. As long as I'm selling shows, you ain't selling for your soul. I feel like she was yelling like a zillion in the megaphone. Said I'ma hit you in the morning, keep your message on. I did my set, then sat alone for a second by myself. Ask questions, choices, destination. To read, digest, I tossed that mindset overboard like an object. I'm trying to find a way to the Lord from the projects. Cause when I was a boy, I didn't know that we was poor. And now I'm on tour, I got the most.
See, that's what I'm talking about with how carefully crafted everything is on this album. The nigga was just spitting on DiCaprio too, and it was amazing. But now he's being really intentional about his messaging and the content in his raps. I love the touch. He's talking about him going back and forth with this girl and this girl's thinking and trying to protect him from the industry changing him. And he was talking about he just sat alone with his thoughts, and as he's describing him being alone with his thoughts, he gets more and more frantic. He breaks the bar line numerous times. His delivery is more emphatic, and that kind of just imitates the conflict that's going on in his head. It's a dope touch.
I never gave that much a fuck about this shit to let it challenge my integrity. But you questioning me got me thinking you thinking less of me. October, November, December was gone. But on the 25th, we gotta be there for more. I'm told you got to feel the animosity brewing. It's getting bad and I'm sad our relationship ruined over some trash, but it's past that. Send me all the money that I gave you over Cash App back, since you acting as if you...
We're sorry, you have reached a number that is...
Man, the storytelling on that song is insane. And my bad, I said girlfriend, that's his sister that he's talking about. But still, same thing holds true. And it's really creative that he's able to tell this pretty common story of the conflict and the problems of fame, but telling it through the eyes of him having conflict with his sister. And it sounds like a real tragic story of her drawn away from him because she has these perceived notions of rappers, and he's acknowledging that, yeah, there is conflict and temptation. I love that second verse where he was talking about having that internal conflict in his head and how frantic he got. And I love even more when he was giving that message on her phone where he starts apologizing, and as he's apologizing, he gets more and more in his feelings, and then he starts blaming her like, yo, send me my money back while we at it. But it's just a real raw expression of emotion, and it has a lot more realism than a lot of music has. A lot more vulnerability too. This is Can't Make You Change with Ari Lennox.
Diamonds in the rough, they had the toughest luck at finding love. You can't change a nigga playing games, girl, you should find a sub. Music Soul Child or Lil Wayne should teach me how to love.
That's tough. Music Soul Child, Lil Wayne should teach you how to love. Represent both of those songs. The strings on this song are tough, both the bass and the regular guitar.
pain and struggling problems, looking for danger, ducking and dodging. I got the banger and not a small one. Niggas be changing like a revolver. You been the same, but you done been solid, man. I got the applaud you for.
See, that's another case where he's not using double time, but his flow still sounds really, really good because he's being really strict on where each syllable falls within the beat, so it has the same cadence for multiple beats. If you were to write out all the notes, the rhymes would fall on the same note too. That nigga know what he doing.
She in my DM for my DNA strands. I ain't fall for the scam. Then again, I'm fighting off all the thoughts in my pants. Pretty bras, menage, and spin a fallout in France. In
the Minaj line playing in the France line, that's lit wordplay.
Saving it for marriage. I'm flying back from Paris, I can text you in the air. Remember when we met and you said that you love the fade, but I should grow my hair. X-Man was banned, couldn't grow a pair. Then you start fucking with the misses, not the miss yours. Life is love, love is free, life as long as it's pure. I ain't.
He took the Minaj in France word to in France to flying from Paris to you went from the misses instead of the monsieurs.
Gonna make you cry me a river like I'm Justin Timberlake or Timberland, I'm controlling my temper.
That's supposed to come down from the really emotional Sistanem. I think the pace of the song was probably a tad bit too slow. Maybe Ari Lennox's part was unnecessarily long. The song itself did have a slow vibe to it, and I think it didn't pick up until the end. He did have some good flows on both the first and second verse, but the third verse was the best lyrically for me. I like the flows and the cadences even more, plus it had that wordplay mixed in. Regardless of the pacing though, he's still doing a really good job of storytelling this time, actually with his girl as opposed to when I said it last time, but the conflict between him and his girl, and really falling to them same temptations that his sister warned him about on the previous song. Not my favorite song from the album, but still a solid song. This is Stars with Yasin Bey. That's the first time I called him that. I definitely call that nigga Mos Def. I'm over here acting brand new for the channel. Those real reverbed out keys. It's like they borrowed them from trip hop.
Baby girl have faith in a nigga without a job and let a nigga stay at your place. Play it for your friends.
Come on.
Both of us will win if I get a big break. Wanna come and hang with the stars. Pinky ring chain, bling bling in the cars. 100 miles an hour on the way to Liar. You don't even believe in Jesus, we're in Christian DR.
He channeling his inner 3 stacks right here. This definitely sounds like a Andre 3000 flow.
But yeah, you wanna be J kid. I used to wanna be Jay. I used to wanna be Wayne. I used to wanna be Kanye and Andre 3K. And now my home.
I'm about to say, if he didn't say 3K, I was gonna slap this. Whoa, that was aggressive. If he didn't say 3K, I was gonna raise an eyebrow. Well, I can't be talking crazy, man. This nigga live up the road.
You know my homegirls wanted to be Beyonce. Can you pay my telephone? Wow, shit. Just looking for a deal. Working so hard, had to sharpen my skills. Fast forward, I'm in a building with stars, and I got a yachty car. You got stars in the ceiling. Pause for a minute. Gotta know the difference in the stars and the gimmicks. Are you really in it for the arts or the image? Do you really live it in your heart and spirit is part of all you are?
I like these new slaves. The chain hanging, bling swinging, back breaking, but it's
don't change the beat like that. Relax.
hit this, sip this, wish list, hit list, top 10 shit list, bitch list, trick list, playmate, playboy, flip side, say coin, big fun, but no joy.
That flow with Rowski is crazy.
Hot girls, cold hearts, tax man like the Taliban and ISIS. No relation to cloud like a tabloid typist. They touch too tiny to the tight.
Him playing with that T sound is crazy.
Conquering lion, not the liar, seek the guard and flee the fire.
Nah. Y'all seen Bey got busy on that track. Man, I love the kind of roles that they played in that song. And both of them was kind of ironic. JID played this role of this struggling artist, and he kind of extrapolated out to all artists, all aspiring artists in his last verse. But then Mos Def, the beat changing to going to Mos Def's part with him playing the role of someone who's already made it in the industry and him flaunting his wealth. But the irony of that is emphasizing material wealth is something that he never actually did in his personal life. But yeah, he got busy, man. His flows were as crisp as some of the best flows that JID had on this album. Really fire verse from him. His imagery was dope. He had some alliteration in there. JID set his verse up perfectly with his storytelling in the first ones. I thought the "Let Me Stay at Your House" at the beginning of the song, I thought that was hilarious. And then the bridge echoing that. I like both beats. The really reverby keys in the beginning was really tripped out, and then you got more of a traditional beat for the second beat. This is Just in Time with Lil Wayne and Kenny Mason.
Time is of the essence, I'm progressively improving. Impressive and I'm pressing if you second guess my movements. First city where niggas on killing time in your pocket for nickels or penny
This is fire flow.
But shit, it got minimized. We was living by him. I would go inside behind the window, hide. Fee-5-4 niggas slide.
That's tough. That's tough. Fee-5-4 niggas slide down the beanstalk. Come on, man.
I tell your favorite rapper it's pajama time. He a ugly bastard, but a son of mine. It's over for you, but it's underlined. I come before you with a humble mind and it's
hours of affection, no protection. I'm within without it. Why am I so reckless? Is a question that don't get responses.
Man, Lil Wayne's been on a different level with his features lately, man. He's using this rhyme scheme and cadence where he used that session for the internal rhyme, and he's using it at the same part of the bar too, which gives it that really crisp flow.
Time to the end of time, since the beginning of time, I put in the time, and that's all the time. That's in the time.
Like
put
that
it on the line to the
time
finish line. Never cross the line, stay within the lines. I don't mold inside, then defend inside, and we gonna storm inside, and then when she dry, that's homicide, that's genocide. I'm large.
That side wordplay is fire too.
no the scrimmage line with a large split is decriminalized. I got a party like a nigga.
Just don't take it over there by that Brave State, and they will arrest you. Shoot, Cobb County, they might shoot you.
Thinking about it to the finish line. We got plenty time. We got plenty rhyme. Tell Tim and Switch to hit the Insta live. I put a million on us versus anybody.
I don't know why they want to let Kenny Mason rap, but that song was fire. Lil Wayne lost his mind on that verse. He lost his mind. Bro, his features right now and over the past like 2 years have been on the level they were when he was in his prime, like Drought 4, Dedication 2, Carter 3, that era Wayne. He's in that bag right now, man. The wordplay with the time flips and then the side flips. Then JID got in his bag and did the same thing with the line flips in his third verse. Ugh. I thought the beat was cool. I thought it would have been better beats on here. It was good, but it is kind of basic and it didn't have the same fluidness as some of the other beats with the modulations and tempo change and stuff in them. But really dope song overall. This is Money.
Without a dime. Youngest in the family, succumb from out of crime. Came from East Atlanta, Moreland after South Deshaun. In his path, 20 East was probably like the Autobahn. Better get his
that's a fact. 20 East is a speedway.
Father Tom, fuck Mother Earth and had an Uncle Tom. Now them crackers snatching black cats by their tongue. For the cheese, rats creeping on your TV screen, selling you dreams.
That's sick. The Uncle Tom into the Tom and Jerry wordplay and imagery.
Thinking if anybody is talking, put some green on his head, he better be market smart. But we never had the thing, so this all was in my thoughts.
Putting green on his head, he better be market smart. That's slick wordplay, man. He's been killing it with the entendres throughout here. He's saying you better move smart once you put that money on your head, but then the green played back to the Boston Celtics.
And don't socialize goals to get the most times before it's the end of your time. It's hard for a nigga to score when they keep on moving the goal line. Now he outside the liquor store with a lot of the ticket, leaving a double shift at the Walmart on Russian Road. Still trying to get the rolling past the gas station where he old niggas from a little parlay play and made a nigga make spray by they dough. So a nigga don't play by no code.
Bro, that double time flow is sick, and then his storytelling is so crisp while he does it. Telling the story of a dude getting run down knowing at the gas station, that's tough.
I gotta take it, paper chasing like I'm Dre or I'm Hove, yay with the clothes. Fuck Hulk Hogan and fuck Joe Rogan because he flows. You know how it goes. Need a bitch.
Dog, he like broke the fourth wall with that bar where the bar describes like the bar itself, where he said F.O. Hogan because, you know, Hulk Hogan said the N-word. I said the N-word like I don't say nigga 200 times on this channel, but Hulk Hogan said it with the hard ER. And then he said F. Joe Rogan, which, you know, some people don't like his conservative views, but then he said because it flows. Like, yeah, I just threw his name in there because it go with the rhyme scheme. That's hilarious.
Need a bitch that's down with OPP and down with IPOs.
That's tough.
My pesos. Thinking about them days, mama said she had to pray more. Cause feeding 7 kids plus the mortgage, gotta pay more.
Alright, I love Gia's rapping on that song. I love the little callback to the bologna sandwiches, talking about I killed somebody that give me a bologna sandwich right now. We ate so many. And then later on, he's like, man, reminiscing, like, I killed for a bologna sandwich right now. Like, I'd love to have one right now. I think that's really clever. I'm on the fence about that beat. I think it'll grow on me, but I ain't really feeling it. The guitar staff sounded novel at first, but then it got annoying as the beat went on. I would have loved it if they would have incorporated those vocals that were at the beginning of, I know the first verse, and I think it was at the beginning of the third verse too. I can't remember if it was the beginning of the second, but the kids just doing the vocal harmonization. I would have loved if they would have put that a little bit more in the beat. But the rapping is sick. He hasn't lit up with his flows. I do like the song overall though. This is Better Days.
Don't forget the better days, we been friends since 10. Back then we told people we cousins, kins. Now we talking through a window while you in a cage. I'ma come get you when you figure out your day. I was in and out the states, you was rapping on the rage. Had Atlanta going crazy, I was packing out the stage in different places. You hit me, said Cassandra had your baby the day that Kody died.
Yo, that wordplay on the last few bars was crazy. He was using wording that could be used to describe both Gia's music career and his homie street lifestyle. Like when he was talking about himself, he was saying he was going in and out of states. What's also entendre could be used to describe going in and out of state pen. And then for his homie, he was saying he had the A going crazy, which is he was getting active in the Atlanta streets. And that's also entendre for like JID would describe himself as he had the A going crazy like it shows.
When you called that other case, I ain't know what your ass was thinking. My mama said to say you ain't too old to get a spanking. Still wanna put you feel like you need to be thankful you still here. I've seen some better days before, yeah. Feeling like forever was a long time ago.
They read through it cause your vision makes me a slave.
Look, check to make it to forever.
Sounded
Took
great.
a very long time. I took it to manifest it. Blessing that I made it out the club of 27. The weapon was formed against me. I formed against the weapon. Try to stretch him, but niggas sprinting. If we don't catch him, then God to get him in. We ain't got getting the karma of being killer men, but you did in our better days, not miss my friend.
That song right there sums up everything that JID has done extremely well on this album. The storytelling here sounds vivid, and once again, it's the mix of different time frames and him merging those together. Like on that second verse, and he was talking about growing up and his brothers easing that story. The end of that story was really powerful. On top of having some really slick wordplay, and then using those last lines to reveal why his homie's actually in jail for retaliation. The first verse was amazing. You just felt their relationship together. Then you had great vocals, a great beat. You had a tempo change mid-beat, which was dope to me. Hard to say which songs are the best ones on the album, but this has to be, what, top 3 or something? This is Lauder Too.
Pardon me, but a part of me looking for more. Giving my heart, my art, my artery. What do you want more? Minority boy black, looking for joy. They snatch it, looking back, paying it for. But I'm tapped. I lap tap water and tap dance and tabernacles.
Yo, this nigga gotta chill. I already knew it was up when he said the name of the song was Lauder Too. Lauder is crazy. That's one of his best songs. That was definitely the best song off the Never story. I like when he used a word and then used the same word as part of the next line. So the part and then giving a part of me and then artery art.
But I'm tapped. I lap tap water and tap dance and tabernacles before the Lord. The pattern is no void. Not gonna avoid the words that come with a voice inside of my head. I'm sick of the noise. So be a bigger nigga, put your
Bro, he got the killer instinct on.
scribbling word rhymes, the crowd giving applause, but in my spirit I feel it and they don't hear me at all. Nigga, my nigga, look at the bigger picture. We flawed, okay, cool. You picking up figures, nigga. We proud. You pay dues, but now then, right now, let it be next one. Backseat shotgun, don't got one.
Ooh. That verse was crazy.
Spit legitimate love like a drug loaded in the slum. Sniffing for information on who the plug on the black pipe, black gloves, black night, black baby girl. Keep a rap tight, give a brother a hug and not a slug. That's right. If ever trouble should come, we never crumble. That's why we've been down for life. Got a weird feeling the enemy's on the way. Give a little energy, anything motivates. Come around, namaste, now you're down. Don't be afraid, just keep that fear locked out.
Ooh, that song was different. That's a crazy way to end the album. Probably his craziest flow that he's had on the entire album. And it wasn't just the flow and the rhyme schemes that were ridiculous on that song. It was just how one bar led into the other. So he would have this particular cadence, and a part of that cadence would be him just playing with the words from the previous lines. Playing with tempo again, completely slowing down that beat for those vocal passages. Then he switched the beat again at the end, and that was like come down from that rapid, insane pace rapping. I think his flow even felt more frantic because how crazy the bass line was going while he was spitting his verse. That song is tough. Overall, I love this album. I love this progression from JID. I alluded to this a little bit in the intro, but with DiCaprio too, that album was excellent. And after I heard it, I was like, I don't even know if this dude is trying. Like, there wasn't any themes. A lot of the content was pretty surface level. He did describe his environment a good bit, but a lot of the songs were pretty surface level. And I thought the area that he could improve the most, I mean, the rapping was already an elite level, would be to improve the content, get into some storytelling, and then find some particular themes that you want to focus on. And that's exactly what he did here. The way that he not just told stories, but also narrated conflict, whether it was a conflict between him and his sister, him and his girl, or these internal conflicts of balancing fame and staying true to himself. I love how he touched on particular topics like money on the song Money, and he didn't sacrifice an ounce of his rap ability. Like, he might have had a few more flashy, fast-paced flows on DiCaprio too, but I think his rhyme schemes and his cadences were just as crisp here. I think the production was overall good. I think some of these beats probably weren't as fleshed out as they could be. I probably did prefer the production on DiCaprio 2 to this one outside of the beat changes. When he got into these beat changes, I think they kept all these beats feeling fresh. And I do think the musicality that he showed on this album is better than DiCaprio 2, definitely. Like, just the technical ability it takes to play with tempo like he did on this album, or not him, but the producers did on this album, is impressive. And overall, just another really good offer for JID, who I think is capable of building a really impressive discography.